Many women wake up one morning and notice something unsettling. Their skin no longer bounces back. Their hair feels thinner, and their reflection looks more tired, no matter how carefully they eat or care for themselves. Most are told this is simply aging, but medical research shows a different truth. After menopause, women can lose nearly 30% of collagen in just a few years, not because beauty is fading, but because vital repair nutrients quietly disappear. I'm Dr. Eliza Hart, a board-certified obstetrician and gynecologist with over 15 years of experience supporting women through menopause, hormonal changes, and healthy aging. What many women don't realize is that menopause doesn't only affect hormones, it quietly alters how the body absorbs and uses essential nutrients needed for repair. When those nutrients are no longer activated properly, collagen rebuild slows, skin thins, and hair weakens, even when daily routines stay the same. This is why creams stop working and familiar habits suddenly feel ineffective. In today's video, I'll share 5 specific vitamins that research shows play an important role in supporting collagen repair, skin resilience, and hair strength for senior women. If you care about women's health after 50, please subscribe to the channel and comment the name of the country you're watching from, because it helps me see how this message is reaching women around the world. And make sure you watch until the very end, because I have a small but important surprise related to these vitamins that many women overlook. Now let's begin with the first vitamin most women don't realize their skin has been quietly missing. 1. Vitamin K2, the elasticity vitamin most women are missing. As we move beyond understanding why aging accelerates after menopause, it becomes important to look at what actually happens inside the body when skin suddenly loses its bounce. One of the earliest changes I observe clinically is not dryness or wrinkles themselves, but a deeper stiffness in the tissue, a sense that the skin no longer moves or responds the way it once did. This is where vitamin K2 quietly enters the conversation, often overlooked, yet biologically essential. Vitamin K2 plays a precise role in the body by activating proteins that control where calcium is deposited. When K2 is sufficient, calcium is directed into bones, where it provides strength and support. When K2 is lacking, calcium tends to accumulate in soft tissues and blood vessels, a process that gradually increases rigidity. In the skin, this rigidity appears as reduced elasticity, deeper lines, and a loss of the natural spring many women notice after 50. After menopause, this process becomes more noticeable because the skin relies more heavily on proper mineral balance and microcirculation to remain supple. Without adequate vitamin K2, the environment surrounding collagen and elastin fibers begins to stiffen, making it harder for these structural proteins to function as they should. Collagen may still be present, but it cannot perform effectively when the surrounding tissue has lost flexibility. Scientific research supports this connection. Studies examining vitamin K2 intake have linked it to improved vascular elasticity and reduced calcification in soft tissues, both of which influence how skin ages over time. In clinical practice, when women address a long-standing K2 deficiency, the changes they notice are gradual but meaningful. Skin often feels less tight, retains moisture more effectively, and regains a softer texture that topical products alone could not achieve. Dietary sources of vitamin K2 are limited in most Western diets. Natto, a fermented soybean food, is the richest source, while smaller amounts appear in aged cheeses and certain fermented dairy products. Because these foods are not commonly consumed, supplementation with the MK7 form of vitamin K2 is often the most practical option, as it remains active in the body longer and supports more consistent protein activation. What I emphasize to my patients is that vitamin K2 is not a cosmetic shortcut. It works by restoring balance to a system that has gradually drifted out of alignment, allowing the skin to respond more naturally to hydration, nutrition, and care. Elasticity, however, is only one aspect of visible aging, and preserving it requires attention to another internal process that quietly shapes how skin changes with age. 2. Astaxanthin, the cellular protector that preserves youthful skin. Once elasticity has a chance to return, the next challenge becomes protecting it from the quiet, ongoing damage that accelerates visible aging from within. Many women focus on moisture and firmness, yet overlook the constant cellular stress that weakens skin day after day. This is where astaxanthin plays a distinctly different role, one that complements structural repair by defending skin at the cellular level. Astaxanthin is a naturally occurring carotenoid found in certain marine organisms, including wild salmon and microalgae. What makes it remarkable is how it positions itself within cell membranes, spanning both the inner and outer layers. This unique placement allows it to neutralize free radicals exactly where they cause the most harm, preventing oxidative damage that breaks down collagen elastin and the lipid barrier that keeps skin smooth and resilient. After menopause, this protection becomes increasingly important. Declining estrogen weakens the body's natural antioxidant defenses, leaving skin more vulnerable to environmental stressors, such as ultraviolet exposure pollution and chronic inflammation. Even with diligent sunscreen use and topical care, oxidative stress continues beneath the surface, gradually dulling tone and deepening fine lines. Astaxanthin works internally, reinforcing defenses that topical products cannot reach. Clinical studies help explain why many women notice visible changes. Research involving postmenopausal participants has shown that consistent astaxanthin intake is associated with improved skin elasticity, better moisture retention, and a reduction in the appearance of fine wrinkles over several weeks. In practice, women often describe their skin as looking clearer and more even, with a subtle brightness that feels natural rather than artificial. Dietary intake alone is usually insufficient to reach these levels. While seafood contains astaxanthin, the amounts vary widely and would require frequent large servings. For this reason, supplementation derived from the microalga Haematococcus pluvialis is commonly recommended. Typical doses range from 4 to 8 milligrams daily, taken with a meal containing healthy fats to support absorption. What I emphasize is that astaxanthin does not reverse aging, it slows unnecessary damage. By reducing oxidative stress, it allows collagen and elastin that are already present to last longer and function more effectively. Over time, this preservation supports smoother texture and a more stable complexion, especially when combined with balanced nutrition and adequate rest. Protection, however, is only one side of visible renewal. Even well-defended skin still relies on the strength of its surface structures, which is why the next nutrient focuses on rebuilding hair nails and the outer layer of skin that frames everything we see in the mirror. 3. Biotin vitamin B7, the keratin supporter for hair nails and skin strength. After addressing elasticity and cellular protection, many women begin to notice changes that feel more personal, not always in the mirror at first, but in everyday moments. Hair strands seem finer when brushing nails break as they grow longer, and skin feels fragile despite careful routines. These signs are often dismissed as cosmetic concerns, yet biologically they point to a slowdown in keratin production, where biotin plays a central and often underestimated role. Biotin, also known as vitamin B7, is essential for enzymes that convert proteins, fats, and carbohydrates into usable energy and structural components. One of its most important functions is supporting keratin synthesis, the protein that forms hair nails and the outer protective layer of skin. When biotin availability declines, this process slows, and tissues that rely on constant renewal lose strength. This is why brittle nails, increased shedding, and rough skin texture become more common after 50. Age and hormonal shifts contribute to this change. Digestive efficiency gradually decreases, absorption becomes less predictable, and the body increasingly prioritizes vital organs over hair and skin. Even women who eat well may not deliver enough biotin to the areas that need it most, leading to frustration when visible results fail to appear. Clinical research helps clarify what happens when this imbalance is corrected. Studies involving women with brittle nails have shown that consistent biotin supplementation is associated with improved nail thickness and reduced splitting over several months. In clinical practice, similar patterns appear in hair and skin. Women often report fewer strands left in the brush, stronger nails that grow more evenly, and skin that feels smoother rather than fragile. These changes are gradual but dependable when biotin deficiency is addressed. Dietary sources of biotin include eggs, nuts, seeds, legumes, and certain vegetables. Yet cooking methods and age-related absorption issues can limit how much the body actually uses. For this reason, supplementation is often considered with commonly studied doses ranging from 2.5 to 5 milligrams daily. Because biotin is water-soluble, excess amounts are generally excreted, making it well tolerated for most individuals. At this point, I'd like to hear from you. If you have ever tried biotin for your hair, nails, or skin, comment 1 below. If you have never used it and are just learning about its role, comment 0. Your responses help me understand what topics are most relevant to you and guide future videos. Biotin strengthens what we see on the surface, but visible renewal also depends on how effectively collagen is rebuilt beneath that surface, which leads us naturally to the next vitamin. 4. Vitamin C, the collagen activation, vitamin that stops skin thinning. Once surface strength has been supported, the next question becomes why skin still appears thinner and slower to recover even when it feels smoother and more resilient. This is where many women become confused because they associate vitamin C only with immunity or brightening without realizing its deeper role in how collagen is actually built and stabilized inside the skin. Vitamin C is not simply an antioxidant. It is a required cofactor for the enzymes that allow collagen fibers to form correctly. Specifically, it supports prolyl hydroxylase and lysyl hydroxylase, two enzymes responsible for stabilizing and cross-linking collagen strands. Without sufficient vitamin C, the body may produce collagen, but that collagen remains weak, loosely structured, and far more vulnerable to breakdown. Over time, this results in skin that looks thin, crepey, and slow to heal after even minor stress. After menopause, this process becomes more critical. Estrogen decline reduces fibroblast activity, meaning the cells responsible for collagen production already work more slowly. When vitamin C availability is also reduced, collagen synthesis becomes inefficient at both the cellular and structural levels. This double slowdown explains why many women notice increased translucency of the skin, delayed recovery from dryness, and a loss of firmness that topical products struggle to correct. Research consistently supports vitamin C's role in skin structure. Studies show that adequate vitamin C intake is associated with greater dermal density, improved collagen organization, and better resistance to oxidative damage. In clinical observation, women who correct long-standing vitamin C insufficiency often notice that their skin responds more predictably to hydration and care, holding moisture longer and appearing less fragile over time. Dietary sources of vitamin C include citrus fruits, berries, peppers, and leafy greens, yet absorption can decline with age, digestive sensitivity, or chronic stress. In addition, high-dose synthetic forms may cause gastrointestinal discomfort for some women. For this reason, buffered or food-based vitamin C sources are often better tolerated and more sustainable for long-term use, allowing consistent enzyme support without irritation. What I emphasize is that vitamin C does not act as a surface brightener alone. Its real value lies beneath the skin, where it strengthens the collagen framework that determines thickness, resilience, and recovery. When collagen fibers are properly formed and stabilized, the skin gains a quiet strength that becomes visible over weeks rather than days. As collagen activation improves, another factor becomes increasingly important: the hormonal signals that tell skin cells when to repair and when to rest. That hormonal communication is where the next vitamin plays a defining role in visible aging after 50. 5. Vitamin D3, the hormone skin signal that restores repair after 50. After collagen has the proper support to form and stabilize, one final question remains: why does skin still seem slow to repair, easily irritated, or uneven in tone, even when nutrition improves? The answer often lies not in structure or protection, but in communication. Vitamin D3 plays a quiet yet decisive role in how skin cells receive and respond to repair signals, especially after menopause. Vitamin D3 functions less like a traditional vitamin and more like a hormone. Receptors for vitamin D are present in many tissues of the body, including the skin hair follicles and immune cells that regulate inflammation. When D3 binds to these receptors, it influences gene expression, involved in cell renewal, barrier integrity, and wound healing. Without adequate D3 signaling, skin cells receive weaker instructions about when to regenerate and how to maintain balance. This becomes particularly important after 50. Estrogen decline already disrupts cellular signaling, slowing fibroblast activity and altering immune responses in the skin. When vitamin D3 levels are also low, this disruption deepens. Skin may become thinner, more reactive, and slower to recover from dryness, sun exposure, or minor irritation. Hair follicles may spend less time in their growth phase, contributing to diffuse thinning that feels difficult to explain. Research helps clarify this connection. Studies show that sufficient vitamin D levels are associated with improved skin barrier function, better immune regulation, and steadier cellular turnover. In clinical practice, women who restore low vitamin D levels often notice that their skin feels calmer and more resilient, with fewer unexplained flare-ups and a more even texture over time. These changes are subtle, but they reflect a deeper restoration of biological signaling. Vitamin D3 can be obtained through sun exposure, diet, and supplementation, yet deficiency remains common, particularly in older adults and those living in lower light environments. Aging skin produces less vitamin D from sunlight, and dietary sources alone are often insufficient. For this reason, supplementation is frequently considered, with many women benefiting from consistent daily intake. What matters most is balance. Vitamin D3 works best when it supports rather than overwhelms the body's regulatory systems. When signaling is restored gradually, skin cells regain a clearer rhythm of repair and rest, supporting smoother texture and steadier recovery from daily stressors. By this point, a pattern begins to emerge. Each vitamin we've discussed addresses a different layer of aging, from structure to protection to activation and communication. To make these benefits truly visible and sustainable, daily habits play a powerful role in amplifying what these nutrients can do, which is where we turn next. 6. 5 supportive habits that multiply the benefits of these vitamins. By the time women reach this point, many assume that taking the right vitamins should be enough on its own. In reality, nutrients only work as well as the internal environment allows. In my clinical experience, the difference between women who see steady improvement and those who feel disappointed often comes down to a small set of daily habits that quietly amplify or block the effects of supplementation. The first habit is consistent hydration. Water is not simply about preventing dryness. It is the medium through which nutrients are transported into cells and waste is removed. When hydration is inadequate, vitamins struggle to reach skin cells efficiently, and collagen fibers lose flexibility. Women who hydrate regularly often notice that their skin holds moisture longer and responds better to care. The second habit is prioritizing restorative sleep. During deep sleep, the body increases growth hormone release and collagen repair activity while lowering cortisol. After menopause, sleep quality often declines, disrupting this repair window. When sleep improves, vitamins work in sync with the body's natural rhythms, allowing skin to rebuild more effectively. The third habit is adequate protein intake. Collagen, keratin, and structural proteins cannot be formed without sufficient amino acids. Vitamins like C and biotin can activate processes, but they cannot replace missing building blocks. Balanced protein intake throughout the day provides the raw materials that make vitamin support meaningful. Without this foundation, even high-quality supplements may produce only limited visible results. The fourth habit is gentle daily movement. Circulation delivers oxygen and nutrients to the skin while removing inflammatory byproducts. After 50 prolonged sitting reduces blood flow to peripheral tissues. Light walking or low-impact movement encourages nutrient delivery without stressing the body, helping skin appear more responsive and evenly toned over time. The fifth habit is managing chronic stress. Elevated cortisol breaks down collagen and interferes with vitamin absorption and utilization. Even short periods of intentional relaxation can shift the body out of survival mode. When stress is reduced, repair signals are no longer overridden, and vitamins are allowed to function as intended. Together, these habits create an internal environment where nutrients can perform effectively. Supplements provide instructions, but habits determine whether those instructions are followed. This foundation prepares us for an important conversation because even with the right vitamins and supportive habits, many women unknowingly make mistakes that cancel progress, which is exactly what we need to address next. 7. The most common mistakes senior women make when using these vitamins. At this stage, many women feel they are finally doing everything right, yet the results still seem slower or weaker than expected. In my experience, this moment of confusion is not a sign that the body has stopped responding, but a signal that something small, often overlooked, is quietly interfering with the repair process. One of the most common mistakes is taking vitamins without considering how the body absorbs them. Fat-soluble nutrients such as vitamins D3, K2, and Astaxanthin require dietary fat to enter the bloodstream effectively. When they are taken on an empty stomach or alongside very low-fat meals, absorption drops significantly. Over time, this creates the illusion that a supplement is ineffective, when in reality, it is simply not reaching the tissues that need it. Another frequent error is treating vitamins as isolated solutions rather than parts of an interconnected system. After menopause, repair pathways depend on cooperation between nutrients. Vitamin C cannot activate collagen properly without sufficient protein, and vitamin D3 signaling becomes less effective without mineral balance. When one piece is missing, the signal weakens even though effort remains high. Inconsistency is another silent barrier. Skipping days, changing doses frequently, or cycling supplements without a clear reason disrupts the biological rhythm skin cells rely on. Collagen repair, keratin production, and immune regulation respond to steady signals over weeks, not sporadic bursts. When instructions keep changing, the body delays commitment to repair. Closely related to this is impatience. Many women expect visible changes within days and abandon an approach just as biological adaptation begins. After 50, cellular turnover slows naturally, and meaningful improvement often requires several weeks of uninterrupted support. Stopping too early is one of the most common reasons progress appears to stall. Excessive dosing can also work against repair. Higher amounts do not accelerate results and may strain digestion or increase inflammation. The body prioritizes balance over intensity, especially after 50. When supplements are pushed aggressively, regulatory systems may downshift rather than respond. Finally, many women underestimate the impact of chronic stress and poor sleep. Elevated cortisol interferes with vitamin utilization and collagen stability, regardless of how carefully supplements are chosen. Without a calm internal environment, nutrients are redirected towards survival rather than repair. These mistakes do not indicate failure. They reflect a learning process as the body's needs change. When corrected gently and consistently, progress often resumes, revealing that the body was never resisting renewal, only waiting for clearer instructions. As we close this video, I want you to remember one essential truth. Aging after 50 is not something you have done wrong, and it is not something you need to fear. It is a biological transition, and when the body is given the right support, it responds with repair, balance, and resilience. When key vitamins are restored daily, habits are aligned, and common mistakes are avoided, the body does not fight change, it adapts intelligently. My advice is to move forward gently and consistently. Choose quality nutrients, support them with proper sleep hydration, light movement and stress control, and allow your body time to respond. Real improvement happens quietly over weeks, not overnight. If this video was helpful and you'd like to support the growth of this channel, you can choose to donate using the links below. Your support helps me continue sharing science-based women's health guidance. Please like this video, share it with someone who may need it, and subscribe for more trusted content. Thank you for watching and taking care of your health with intention.